Hey guys, this is Anime Ball Z here, and today we're going to be doing the final part to What If Goku Was a Forbidden Saiyan. Please like the video if you haven't already and subscribe. It's totally free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There's nothing much else I'd like to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jit. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag. Disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
The other kids follow closely behind him, closing the gap. All four of them swarm Goten Black, with Trunks charging forward to land the first strike. It's a clean hit and sends Goten Black flying back. Right after this, Trunks follows up with his Super Tree Cannon. The attack is now so strong that it's on par with his father's final flash. The golden beam of energy slams straight into Goten Black, also sending him further into the ground. There's a large explosion and a thick dark cloud of smoke emitting from the impact point. Goten Black doesn't remain down for long though, springing right out of the debris to charge back toward the kids. He extends his whole body, throwing his fist into Trunks' gut. The next warrior to take on the challenge is Raditz Jr. He slams into his back, then swoops around to kick the larger fighter in his face. However, he smiles after taking that hit and lands a clean snappy elbow before driving the sole of his shoe into Raditz Jr.'s chest. He is propelled back like an arrow, leaving the other two for him to deal with. Goten Black is already growing and has grown past all these fighters in mere minutes. Therefore, they take things up a notch and go into Super Saiyan 3. With immediate 8 times multipliers, the tides of the battle turn yet again. Goten Black just grows past this. After a while, he ascends into basic Super Saiyan himself, giving him a rather large boost in power. This gives him immediate domination over his opponents. Snapper Jr. uses his father's Bomber DX attack, swinging his hand down only to see that almost nothing happens. Goten Black swiftly dismantles him, then kicks Trunks down into a building. Goten latches onto him, almost trying to play Nappa Jr.'s usual game of overpowering his opponent. He's even slightly stronger than Nappa Jr., but it's not enough and he's thrown away too. Raditz Jr., the weakest out the group, is also promptly dismantled. Once again, the kids all decide to go up a gear, going for full power, their Super Saiyan God forms. The kids form a line once again, but it seems like they do so with a little more purpose now. Let's use that combo we were working on, Trunks says. Yeah, that'll get him, Nappa Jr. adds, cracking his knuckles. What mere combination do you mortals think will defeat me? Goten Black asks, lifting his hands as if he's royalty. None of them reply, but then Goten just flies forward slightly. Trunks remains behind him, then Nappa Jr. moves to his left, with Raditz Jr. finally moving to his right. Goten zooms off, driving both fists forward in flight and into Goten Black's stomach. From the side, Nappa Jr. throws in 2 Bomber DX attacks, landing them perfectly. Subsequently, Raditz Jr. lands a clean kick to Goten Black's left flank, before using this force to spring back and use his father's signature attack, the Double Sundae. He also lands this cleanly, then Trunks lands a sequence of punches and kicks to his back and the back of his head as well. All these strikes land flush and with purpose, before he then retreats. In this moment, all 4 kids retreat with them facing Goten Black, who is almost at the center of this cross-like formation they've made. All 4 of them start charging attacks, and Goten Black just looks around hastily. There isn't enough time for him to make a move, and their 4 signature blasts come soaring toward him. Goten's Kamehameha, Nappa Jr.'s Mouth Energy Wave, Trunks' Big Tree Cannon, and Raditz Jr.'s Double Sundae. All 4 attacks land and amplify at the center, creating a bright white light and explosion. Even those watching from below have to briefly shield their eyes. I hated when those kids used that attack on me, Nappa says, chuckling. It does work like a charm though, Goku replies. As this light dims, Goku Black is revealed with heavy bruising, almost dead. He doesn't even have his hands in fists and just looks ahead lifelessly. How he's remained in flight is quite honestly a miracle. In this time though, due to his divine nature, he starts to heal again and then shows off a new form entirely. The kids just watch on in horror as he does this. Jumping all the way up from Super Saiyan, he achieves the Super Saiyan Rose state. He has an arrogant smile on his face and looks around at these kids as if they're vermin. He creates a scythe of ki, rushing forward to slice at Goten's arm, severing it clean off. He swivels around, kicking him away to turn toward the other kids. He has his eyes on Nappa Jr. and pounces. Before he can move from where he is though, somebody appears out of nowhere, Goku. A clone of his grabs Goten, grabbing his loose arm and holding it to his body before healing the cut area. It then vanishes once the job is done. Another clone grabs all 3 of the other kids, transporting them down to ground before the real Goku is left to fly ahead of him. You fought well, but you took it too far, Goku states. You think you're the voice of reason here, mortal. I do as I please, your input means nothing, Goten Black claims. He confidently races toward Goku, who just slips past this incoming attack like it's nothing. He performs a few swift flips to retreat, with this all being done in his base form. Goten Black looks a little spooked by his sudden movement and his immense speed. He looks like a Saiyan, so how could he just move like that without using any sort of transformation? It's not even like Goku is using UI Omen and making himself look like he hasn't transformed. He also isn't even using the Ultra Instinct technique in his base form, it's just his plain old base. Goten Black stamps forward with his key scythe, only to see Goku retreat and evade rather easily. Another swing comes hurtling toward him, but he dips under it, then throws a swift combination of what he perceives as light strikes. However, as he lands them, he breaks at least 2 bones in Goten's black body with each hit. Once he's finished, he just coughs out blood and feels like his body has almost crumpled in a sense. Goku then dashes forward, landing a clean strike to his chest that has quite a bit more force in it. This is what does some real damage. Goten Black's eyes almost look lifeless as he is left to slowly float away, coughing out even more blood. A moment later, he seems to lose consciousness and starts to drop, but is caught by someone else and brought to safety, Zamasu. However, Goku teleports to arrive by their side. "It's you, isn't it? You took his body," Goku smartly deduces. "It's me, but a different version of me, yes," Zamasu explains. He's immortal, so he feels almost invincible in this setting. It doesn't even matter if Goku is stronger than him. However, he lifts his hand and aims it straight at his face. He then gets his other and aims it lower, at Goten Black this time. "I'm sorry, but you cannot continue like this. Your mission is beyond evil. Us mortals are beings just like you. Just because we're flawed, I mean that's just who we are. We're not proud to be this way, but that's just who we are. Why hold it against us?" Goku asks. Zamasu is getting quite annoyed by Goku's above it all nature, like he can just swoop in and control every situation that he's in. It's like he's just letting them continue, like he can come in and foil their plans at any point, almost as if he's trying to act as if he's immortal. Just as Zamasu tries to act, his body turns to dust, along with Goten Black's. Goku has used the Hakai technique. He used it in the manga at this point, and with his greater affinity for battle techniques, it works properly in this scenario. It takes longer to erase Zamasu for Goku, and it isn't easy on him, but he gets the job done. Sand appears at his feet, but he is happy to know that the job is done. Zamasu has been soundly defeated. Future Trunks is more than grateful for their help, and the others head back to the present. They all arrive back, and Trunks then returns, saying his thanks and goodbyes. The kids aren't allowed to go back to training now though. Bulma and Chi-Chi along with Launch and 18 don't want to see them just leaving out of nowhere. However, they've been given a solid foundation and can still make progress back on Earth. This is when the Tournament of Power happens. Beerus tries to say to Goku that the chances of him finding a fighter for him that will be a true challenge is close to none. Mortals can't just become as strong as he is right now. However, Goku is not buying it. During this time, Nappa and Vegeta are under Beerus' tutelage, and both fighters can now use Ultra Ego. Raditz, however, still showed promise for Ultra Instinct, and it showed. He unlocks UI Omen by this time. All these fighters are now insanely strong, well on their way to even rivaling Beerus just like Goku. Beerus hasn't made this explicit, but he sees the mind of a god of destruction in Vegeta. He isn't pure evil, but seems like someone that could destroy if that's what he has to do. That sharp, battle-like mind is perfect for the job. While the others are well on their way to reaching Beerus' level, Goku has already climbed far past that point. He's now progressing toward Whis' level of strength. Whis is still a big challenge, and he isn't quite close to reaching him yet. As a preliminary to the Tournament of Power, Goku faces Toppo. In just his base form, he manages to completely overpower him. He uses flawless technique, and it's like there are eyes in the back of his head. He can read Toppo like a book while fighting with complete unpredictability. It's tough to even comprehend how good of a fighter he is, not just in terms of power, but in terms of skill and intelligence. The fight is over and the gods are stunned. Just what is going to happen in this tournament if a literal god of destruction in training was manhandled like that so easily? For the Universe 7 team, I'd say it's quite different here. First, the kids are definitely chosen as well as the Saiyans. This leaves only 2 extra spots for others to participate. Gohan is chosen as one member along with Piccolo. This fills up their squad and not even one full human takes part. They have true raw power for this event now. The Universe take part with confidence. The kids set their sights on some of the fighters they think are strong from what they look like. The people they look at more closely are Toppo and Jiren. As for the others, they can tell they won't be a true challenge. As the fight begins, the group of 4 just leap straight toward Toppo. They all land, encircling him and readying themselves for battle. "Come on, show us what you're made of," Trunks says, crouching down into a battle stance. He just looks around him, amused by how confident these children seem to be in facing him. They all close in on him, but he focuses on one at a time. Kicking Trunks right in his head, he grabs Goten to slam him down. The other 2 aren't much of a threat for him, and he knocks them both back with double drop kicks. "You kids were confident, I respect that, but utterly foolish," he comments, looking down at all 4 of them. Trunks chuckles before a red aura envelops his body. The same then happens for the other 3 kids as they all use their Super Saiyan God forms in unison. "Were we?" Trunks says, before he starts stepping around him with amazing agility. So do the other 3 kids, and this is when Toppo realizes just what he's gotten into here. Raditz Jr. soars in with his long hair flowing behind him. Punching Toppo right in the face, he sends him stumbling back to Trunks that knees him in his back. This harsh strike causes substantial damage, then Nappa Jr. lands slow but heavy punches to his body. Finishing with the Bomber DX attack, Goten flies out from the smoke at the head of this group. Landing 2 kicks in quick succession, he lands before punching Toppo straight off the ring to eliminate him. Toppo appears in his seat up in the stands and almost can't believe what's happened. It feels so weird to have been taken down like that so easily. It didn't even feel real. Having been defeated by children also makes the situation that much more embarrassing. Jiren looks as nonchalant as ever, looking around the arena with death glares. However, the person that appears before him is Goku. "Are you strong?" Goku asks, almost in an unbelieving tone. During this tournament, he has found absolutely no one to even make him think of trying. There just isn't any challenge. It's made him lose motivation, but he remembered talk about this guy and he just saw him defeat Hit, the strongest fighter that he's seen come out of Universe 6. Therefore, he has high hopes. Jiren doesn't reply but instead gives a response with his advancement. Punching Goku in the face, he makes no movement and Goku looks so bummed out, it turns out that he isn't strong after all. Landing a quick punch to his gut, Jiren coughs blood before stumbling to the ground. At first, Jiren can't just accept this defeat and springs back up, advancing again. However, Goku slips past both of his straight shots, pivoting to exit range with fluidity. More desperate to land his 3rd punch, Goku cocks his body back while shooting out his leg for a kick in the same motion. Since his leg is so much longer than Jiren's arm, he connects while Jiren's fist is inches from reaching his face. He ends up kicking Jiren far back and has so much force behind such kick that he destroys part of the arena, also eliminating Jiren. After Toppo and Jiren are gone from the tournament, dealing with everyone else here isn't that hard. Universe 7 are easily the victors, and many of the members didn't even get to face very strong people, so to them this tournament wasn't exactly that enjoyable. They're just happy to know that their universe will remain. With the wish that they receive, they kindly wish for the other universes to come back, so the tournament doesn't have such a bad ending after all. Here, Goku and the crew head back to Beerus' planet with the kids heading back to Earth. They already know how to use God Ki, and so they don't have to remain training there that much. They could learn Ultra Instinct, but they have all the time in the world for that. Without Frieza being given life by Whis after the Tournament of Power since he didn't participate, it's Sorbet that has to bring him back to life. The way he does this is that he uses Torombo, the eternal dragon of Planet Cereal. He wishes for Frieza to be revived and he is reborn. Broly arrives on Earth where the Saiyans meet him firsthand. They're very curious since they believe that they were the only Saiyans left. Broly is tasked with facing Vegeta first and he flies straight off to attack him. Punching Vegeta in the face, he is launched back but he slows himself down by skidding over the ice. As Broly just mindlessly rushes forward to attack him again though, he lifts up a rock and explodes it in his face, giving him ample time to think of strategy and gain some distance. The first bit of the fight is by far on Vegeta's favour. Unlike before, Vegeta stays on top for a very long time and Broly can't just climb to his power in a heartbeat. Broly leaps up to punch a flying Vegeta but he evades, leaving the hulking brute to crash into a mountain. Vegeta flies off leaving him there, then he shoots out this debris to head back toward him. 2 punches head his way but he evades them both, landing a whipping right strike to Broly's jaw to send him. This is already when Broly starts to lose control. He can feel his mind going haywire and the device used by Paragus to keep him in control is broken. He then begins using his Akari form and his mind has fallen subject to its brutish instincts. He wildly swings at Vegeta with ferocity, even managing to catch him with one hit. Striking him straight in the face, his knuckles send Vegeta's head right into the ground. This powerful hit makes the ground crack, then he follows with various more attacks that Vegeta hides behind his block to take. As each punch lands, the ground quakes and begins cracking around. Cracks scurry out from this point of impact, but Vegeta powers up into Super Saiyan and shoots him off. As he raises, the gap between him and Broly becomes even more apparent, and unlike before, it's not a gap that he could easily bridge. Broly fights without a sense of training, it's just raw power. After fighting people like Beerus and Goku, Vegeta has learned to harness every bit of strength that he can. He needs maximum efficiency. It's clear that he was a threat to begin with, but he can't properly fight. Broly shouts and almost throws himself toward Vegeta, which lets him just grab him and swerve him out the way with ease. He is sent crashing into the ice and Vegeta just slowly walks after him. Slowly lifting, Broly shouts to the sky, firing off his green ki with his rage. Frieza watching on is certainly dissatisfied with what's happening here. He came here to see Broly defeat these people, not just fight and look like a mindless beast. His power's not even high enough to make his style of fighting valid. Therefore, he decides to look toward Paragus, aiming a laser beam at him. He fires off this death beam, but Goku appears and flicks it out of the way, like he did in canon in the Resurrection F saga. "What do you think you're doing?" Goku asks, annoyed. Frieza looks totally startled upon seeing this and has basically no words whatsoever. What could he really say here anyway? Vegeta finds this fight quite interesting though, and wants to even see more from it himself. Now in Super Saiyan 3, he grabs Broly and grabs him by the neck. "Your father will die if you do not defeat me. You've shown me only weakness, and he will be my revenge for you leaving me so disappointed," Vegeta shouts. The others below are shocked by his comment, since they believe that Vegeta left that life behind. He has, but he's just doing this to get something out of Broly. He shouts and blasts Vegeta back with his power-up, Super Saiyan. Not only does he have a 5 times multiplier, he is much more powerful after fighting and learning from what he's done. Vegeta consistently strikes him, but can see that he won't be easy to hurt now. He takes a wound up elbow to his nose, followed by a front kick to the chest that throws him off his feet. He performs a swift backflip to get back to his own 2 feet though. As Broly advances, Vegeta calmly excels, slipping past a punch aimed at his face. His earring jingles from the strong waves of air that blast past his face, but he remains calm and a soothing red aura begins to emanate from him. Super Saiyan God. As he continues to fight in this form, he is by far the superior. Even Super Saiyan Broly will have to spend a lot of time growing to reach him, but Vegeta won't let that happen. He's had his fun. "You are an interesting fighter. Your potential is endless," Vegeta says, evading a hook at his face to then tap Broly on his neck. This tap has some great force to it, making him disoriented, then knocking him out. Broly has been defeated. Vegeta could have let things carry on, but he knows Broly couldn't reach his true power, Ultra Ego. Instead, they can train him, teaching him to hone that strength that he has so that they can gain a formidable ally and friend. Frieza is sent off the planet and Broly is left with them to train. Paragus is also alive to see this unfold. After this arc, there is the escape of Moro from prison. As Goku is meditating all the way on Earth, he starts trying to practice his extreme range sensing. It feels nice and he finds the planet of Namek faintly. It's just a blur of ki, but he can feel the energy of the Namekian life there. Next, he feels the emptiness of space, which is then followed by this looming darkness. He focuses on it and a sweat bead trickles down his face as he does so. Seconds later, he snaps out of it and wonders just what that was. A black hole, a demon. The level of concentrated darkness was like evil if it was a being, evil incarnate. Shortly after, he can also feel another signature heading down to Earth. To check this out, he teleports and just appears inside the ship that Maris used to head to Earth. The people inside are startled, along with Maris, who jumps up and aims his stun gun at him. "Stand down, identify yourself," Maris orders. "Sorry, you're the guys coming to my planet unannounced. I should be the one asking questions," Goku says, lifting his hands. "Keep those hands of yours where I can see them," Maris says. "But really, why are you here?" Goku asks, as his hands are still lifted. Maris just decides to use his stun gun anyway, surprised to see Goku stumble for some time but slowly stabilize. "What was that? That felt weird," Goku says, before being shot a few more times. His vision starts going blurry and the feeling of drowsiness is even more intense, but he returns to normal in a few short seconds. Maris looks down at his own stun gun, a little confused. How was Goku just taking that stunning device easily? "Stop, I'm not a threat. I've just never sensed any of your ki and I want to know what you guys have come down here for," Goku explains. Maris decides to play his game, since after further consideration it seems like this person really isn't a threat. He states that somebody has escaped from jail and Goku says that he knows exactly who he's talking about. He felt their power, a dark aura, like a black flame. "We'll take you to him if you think you're strong enough to face him," Maris offers. "Take me to him? We can go right now. I'll teleport you all and this ship if you like," Goku furthers. "It's faint but I can sense him. Even if we don't get in the right place, I'll just teleport again so we end up exactly where we need to be." Maris takes Goku up on this and they arrive on Namek soon after. Goku doesn't believe that he'll need his friends for this. I mean, he doesn't want anything to happen since he just felt how evil this person was. Also, he's very confident that whoever he will meet here won't give him that much of a challenge. Goku stands before Moro on Namek, stood looking above. He shows no fear and shoots a powerful gaze up. Moro feels a slight sense of fear but then remembers who he is. He might not be in his strongest state here, but he certainly has many tricks up his sleeve. Goku shoots off, breaking the ground from how much force he applies onto it. He punches Moro off the rock that he was on and really destroys him. He whizzes around him with great speed, which makes him almost unable to detect. Goku even creates numerous clones to attack from many angles, which just makes this whole fight hell for Moro. In this old, decrepit form of his, there is very little that he can do to keep up with him. Punching him in the chest, the clones follow up with powerful combinations to break Moro apart even more. Sent through a boulder from a vicious front kick, he doesn't look to be in the best state. Goku then lands ahead of him with his arms just crossed. As he lands, that's when something clicks. Now that he's so close to Moro, he can feel his ki more accurately. When he senses it, he can sense the individual souls trapped inside him, feeding him with power and life force. He can tell that's the reason why this ancient being is alive in the first place. Moro lifts his hands like a wizard would, feeling energy soar into his body. He draws from Goku for strength, and after seconds there is a revelation that hits him. The man that stands before him is a bottomless well of power. No matter how much he takes from him, it just feels like he has more to share. Moro could feel his body being nourished and overpowered. He starts to look vascular and more muscular. He takes the maximum amount he can for being that age and smiles to himself. He charges into the battle and lands the first punch, which throws Goku's head back. He then follows up with a kick to his body and yet another punch. After becoming so strong, Moro is having the time of his life. This is actually making Goku think more carefully because he can feel that Moro is nearing his own strength through just absorbing his own. Goku has infinite stamina, so no matter how much energy he takes from him, he will never feel fatigue. This makes the fight even more challenging as time passes. Moro shouts, aiming to punch Goku only to see that he swapped places with a clone bomb. A massive explosion goes off, then the Saiyan fires off many death beams into the smoke. These piercing blasts do leave bruises on him, but all Moro must do is use his own power to heal those wounds. It's not that bad for him and he feels elated to be back in the game, fighting with true power. However, Goku hasn't resorted to any of his transformations at all. The fight is most certainly still in his hands. He's just playing around to see how far he can go with his nifty abilities. Swarming Moro with tens of clone bombs, they eventually are dismantled since Moro is just more powerful than all of them. As they all disappear, Moro locks eyes with Goku, cracking his knuckles with utter confidence. It won't be long before this threat is gone though. He taps him in the solar plexus with a straight punch and Moro is confused at first. Moro just feels a sense of weakness wash over him. This is because the soul is freed from Moro's grasp. Goku then fires off with numerous light but swift taps, resorting to the Yardratian technique of Force Spirit Fission. He didn't know that this would work, but he can see Moro's body getting weaker and frailer with each strike. The force that he used to keep himself alive is dwindling, and now his body just can't take it. After Goku's last strike, Moro is left to stumble back and just falls onto the ground, passing away. Moro has been defeated and Goku didn't even need to transform. Goku returns to Beerus' planet and tries to hide what he's been up to not annoy his friends. However, he has to just own up to facing a pretty strong threat and not letting them have a go at facing him. He does explain that he did have to defeat him as quickly as possible, since he wasn't exactly a great guy. Judging from the darkness within him, he was totally unpredictable. Raditz and Nappa are willing to take his word for it, but Vegeta is not having it. If there's another threat, Goku is definitely sitting out of it. After seeing Broly's Akari form, it takes a solid hour of Goku trying before the form is his as well. Whis has to be there to keep Goku in control because as soon as he transforms, he has the mind of an Uzaru and has to be contained. However, when he uses it more, he starts gaining more control until he feels like himself and is just a little on edge. Beyond just being curious and wanting to learn this technique, he also has an idea of combining it with something to create an even stronger form. All of these trainees have found that they've hit another plateau. Nothing seems to come after Ultra Instinct or Ultra Ego, and they hate being given limiters like these. Anyway, Granola on planet Cereal summons Tarambo and wishes to become the strongest mortal in the universe. Tarambo even gives Granola advice about his wish that this might take all of his life force to complete. Granola is surprised by this statement. Just who would he be stronger than to make it require all of his life force? However, he agrees and manages to survive. Once he gets this power and the special abilities, he is extremely surprised at what he receives. The power he has is unlike anything he's felt before. I mean, he's already surpassed Beerus, and with such strength in the form of ordinary ki and not god ki, even Goku can feel it. There's a really strong threat out there somewhere, Goku reveals. Who is it? Vegeta asks, cracking his knuckles. I don't know, Goku says. Unlike with Moro, he can't sense any evil and so chooses to just leave it. There's no need for him to do anything about it for now. This is when the Heaters then choose to direct them to what's going on. This is what they do and the four Saiyans arrive on planet Cereal. Looking around for where Granola could be, a specific powerful ki blast slams into Goku's neck. The attack makes him quite hurt and very surprised. Whilst he is surprised, the other Saiyans here are horrified. If Goku has been hurt so badly by this fighter, what's going to happen to them? The answer to that question is nothing nice at all. Goku decides to shield them with what seems to be like 50 clones. They form a sphere, and this is more clones than Goku has ever had to resort to using at once. This gives them time to look through the gaps between these clones while being shielded from any incoming blasts. These blasts start to shoot out these clones, opening up gaps in this makeshift sphere of clones and letting some blasts get through. However, Goku continues creating even more clones to cover these holes as they continue to strategize. Once Granola reveals himself, the clones are removed and Vegeta flies ahead of Goku. "You be that goat man you were talking about before, so we'll take it from here," Vegeta says, with Nappa and Raditz flying forward with him. Nappa also has a golden ring on his ear, but Raditz instead has Whis' signature symbol on his now sleeker Saiyan armor. The three fighters advance together, swarming around Granola, who remains still in flight and seemingly calm. Nappa hurls down two fists, but Granola just elegantly slips forward and throws a punch at Raditz in the process. He manages to use Ultra Instinct in his base form, but it's incomplete. He can't evade the punch and is still clipped by his outer knuckles. As for Vegeta, he lands a clean punch onto one of his vital points, causing some serious damage. All three warriors retreat upon seeing this happen and have to think about this fight differently. If this guy managed to hurt Goku in his base form, it wouldn't be smart for them to continue in their ordinary states. Therefore, they up the gears to their final forms. There's no need for waiting around. They power up simultaneously, showing off the powers that they've been cultivating all this time. Vegeta's purple hair is revealed in Ultra Ego, and Nappa grows a longer purple beard as he attains this form too. Raditz's long luscious hair turns a gleaming silver as he begins using Mastered Ultra Instinct. All three fighters then advance, with Raditz looking far calmer whilst Nappa and Vegeta advance with more rage and bloodlust. Granola easily evades Vegeta's incoming strike, then falls under Nappa's incoming Bomber DX. As he descends, Raditz takes him on and throws a sequence of attacks that just never land. No matter how fast they are, Granola is just that much faster. He swivels over another attack and starts fighting back. Landing punches to their vital points is unlike anything they've ever seen or felt. No, it isn't unlike anything they've ever seen. Granola seems to be a lot like Goku as they face him. Nappa latches onto Granola and tries to overpower him using raw strength. At first it looks like he might be doing just that, but it's all a game to Granola. He just lets him do this and throws him back before nearly knocking him out with a brutal combination aimed at many of his vital points. Nappa is left to float back, dazed from the level of damage that he's been forced to take. His eyes look lifeless and Vegeta whizzes past him to try and do what Nappa could not. However, even with Raditz to aid him when things get tough, there is little that he can do. The two warriors cock back their fists, trying to hit him at the same time only to get nearly knocked out with punches to their necks. As they slowly fall back, just like Nappa did, clones of Goku appear to heal them. "Continue fighting," Goku urges them as the clones fade. After this, their bodies have grown stronger, and with the frame of Ultra Ego, Nappa and Vegeta have grown even further. The two Ultra Ego users burst out into a powerful charging of ki. Even after this power up, the gap between them and Granola is just too much. He did wish to become the strongest in the whole universe. That places him above Beerus and even Goku when he uses MUI. These group of Saiyans can only contest Goku in his base form when they play as witty as possible and when Goku isn't going as hard as he could. This is a losing game, and it has been from the start. Granola kicks Raditz in a vital point in his neck and places sufficient force in his strike to knock him out. As for Nappa and Vegeta, he continues to throw powerful, relentless attacks between them that they can't even perceive as they come. However, they can certainly feel the pain and agony from each crushing punch or kick. All three warriors have been knocked out and are caught by three Goku clones. As he's been watching, he is just a little confused as to how this fighter is as strong as he is. How come that he's so easily beaten some of the strongest mortals of all time? It just doesn't really make sense to him. He is forced up into Mastered Ultra Instinct and fights Granola with this new power. This is where he gains the upper hand. His attacks are faster, and with his Ultra Instinct he can dodge attacks rather easily and keep himself untouched. Granola overextends with an attack to land, then Goku punches Granola hundreds of meters down and into the ground. Teleporting down there to appear in front of him, he then disappears, a clone. Looking up, he can see the fighter yet again, but he doesn't give him much time to just look at him. He comes zooming down and punches him in the chest, throwing his real body right into the fight yet again. "You can use clones too," Goku says, without much happiness or bubbliness that he usually showcases. Granola doesn't even reply immediately and lands in front of him. They're surrounded by rubble and their fight continues. Unlike before, Goku does not have the upper hand. He may be faster and his Ultra Instinct makes him very difficult to hit, but you can't even hit Granola too. Stepping back, Granola fires off with several blasts at his vital points and causes some good damage. However, his healing factor means that the blasts don't do much. This is what he realizes after some time. He just continues firing off accurate blasts of ki and sees Goku take each one, like an impenetrable wall, unable to be hurt. Granola carries on for some time just firing off at him, but he doesn't exactly know what he's doing. During this time, Goku is letting him do this because he's just thinking about how he can come out on top in this battle. After becoming so strong, when he loses, he feels desperate to win. Here he is using all of his brain power and battle intelligence to try and get a one-up on Granola. These beams of ki, when causing sufficient damage, will boost his power in the form of a Zenkai. After the blasts are done, Goku calmly exhales when feeling this new power. "What are you?" Granola blurts out, confused by his stone-hard body. He begins to power up, entering his Ikari state. Looking largely similar, there are still some changes, like his hair looking wilder and his body now becoming far more muscular. However, he reaches further. Continuing to reach for more power, his aura flashes with gleaming flashy green energy. His silver eyes then turn to yellow and his hair starts lifting in different areas. He starts looking far more vascular and it looks like he's struggling. This is because he's trying very hard to do something he's never done before. He saw how strong Granola was and it reminds him of his first fight with Beerus, that need for strength. The ground cracks and quakes from his strength and Granola looks on incredulously. After wishing to become the strongest in the universe, he felt like that would remain the dynamic. However, here he can see that that is not the case. The tides are soon to turn. Goku screams vehemently, drawing every drop of power from within and attains a new transformation entirely. The combination of Ultra Instinct and Ikari. The wrathful form and Ultra Instinct. What should I call this? I'll call it Ultra Saiyan, Goku says. That's a terrible name, Vegeta says from behind him. Yeah, I don't know why he went for that, Raditz adds. Goku's new form looks sleek, but his new buff, bodybuilder-esque frame makes him look that much more terrifying. Granola wished to be the strongest in the universe. He believes his title is still his. Flying straight at him, he aims for one of his vital points and feels like he'll land perfectly. I mean, he has throughout the fight, so what's gonna change here? However, Goku swiftly slips past his attack, kicking him in the chest in this same motion. The strike breaks one of his ribs while he ends up hitting one of his vital points. "I saw you hitting these areas in our body, so I hit that same part of yours. I wonder how you do that," Goku says as Granola stumbles down to a knee, bleeding out his mouth. As Goku looks to attack him again, Mutaito makes himself known. The fight is ended after Mutaito shows that Granola shouldn't be fighting these Saiyans. Goku's father, Barlock, is the reason that he's alive after all. Turning around, Goku can see Gas has arrived and is now the strongest in the universe, even above him. However, in this moment, Goku is not aware of that fact. This makes his confidence remain. After climbing above Granola, he believes that he can win this fight as well. His Ultra Saiyan form appears yet again, creating ripples in the air that surrounds him. Those watching on can't help but feel awe at how mind-numbingly strong he's become. He's surrounded by a radiant, majestic, galactical aura with flashes of green ki throughout it. His eyes are a glowing gold, and even after seeing the form before, it doesn't make witnessing it any less magical. Goku soars off toward Gas, creating several clones in the process. Gas resorts to the use of his glowing weapons, attacking them with various shaped weapons. Many of them are taken out with these single attacks, leaving just the real Goku left. He slams into a pink energy shield that Gas has manifested from out of nowhere and gets swatted back. He immediately tries to fly back only to get punched right in his face. As the fight continues, it's clear that Gas here has the edge. However, something weird starts to happen. In just minutes, Gas' body begins to deteriorate. His age is already catching up to him. The life force he used to become this strong was enormous. His skin wrinkles in real time and he weakens at the same time. He gets Goku with a good punch, but as the attacks continue to come in, Goku starts taking and blocking more and more of them. It just seems that after enough time they don't have much power behind them. Goku then grabs the frail, weakening Gas by the neck and slams him into the ground with full force. Leaping up, he grabs the clone bomb that he creates, grabbing them to spin them around and throw them down toward Gas, where they violently detonate. A bright explosion occurs, leaving a near-dead Gas continuing to age below. Goku made sure not to put his full force into that attack since he didn't have intent to kill there. However, there isn't really much of a choice because Gas continues to age and eventually dies. As Goku has thrown him, somebody arrives shortly after, Frieza. "Hello there, Saiyans," Frieza says. Goku just turns to him with the battle-ready eyes of a Saiyan. There's no calmness that remains for him. With this new state of being, he has the nifty abilities of Ultra Instinct, but the heightened battle awareness and mentality of a true Saiyan. He remains cautious, then Frieza shows off what he's been working on, his Black Frieza form. He flies straight at Goku, throwing a punch at him. As his fist whips through the air, heading right for Goku's head, he catches it and uses his gained impetus against him. Frieza is sent flying to the ground and Goku continues to stand over him. The level of humiliation that Frieza feels in this moment is insane. Even after 10 whole years of training, being blessed by his incredible mutant genetics and talent, Goku has just thrown him to the side as if he's a weakling. Unable to accept this, he fires back toward him with a relentless sequence of punches. Those watching on are amazed by how fast he's moving, but Goku is just moving that bit faster. He can move away and catch any attack coming toward him, and as Frieza thrusts his whole body into the last punch, it is caught all the same. Driving his free fist up and into his chin, the former Emperor is left almost totally dazed. Stumbling to the floor, the wall continues to move as Goku stands before him. "Just get out of here, Frieza. I don't want to have to kill you," Goku states. After some time, Frieza looks more present and he just stares at Goku in silence. Out of nowhere, he screams at the top of his lungs before getting up and flying off as fast as he can. Upon returning from Planet Cereal, Whis is pretty interested in how strong Goku's become. However, someone else wants to catch a glimpse of this powerful Saiyan, the Omni King. Summoned to Zeno's palace, the Grand Priest and Zeno watch intently as the first mortal in history to ascend past an angel could be standing before their eyes. Welcome, Goku, and welcome fellow angels and gods of destruction to the match we have before you. A little different to the Tournament of Power that was hosted previously, we have a mortal claiming to have surpassed the power of the angels, Goku, the Grand Priest states. Many shocked expressions come from the summoned crowd, with Champa grunting upon hearing this. Most of the gods of destruction are just too stunned to speak. Just like how Toriyama stated, the gods of destruction know that the gap between them and any other mortal is smaller than the gap between themselves and their respective angels. This just makes his feat even more impressive. It's also a little daunting and terrifying to know that this mortal is that much stronger than them. This will be a spar of unlimited time. The first to yield or be knocked out will be the loser, and the other will claim victory over them. May the match begin. Goku immediately starts with his power up. He knows Whis all too well and does not want to mess around here. His power continues to grow until he reaches his Ultra Saiyan form. Those watching are in awe and the fight now begins. Whis swivels around his staff as Goku runs toward him before aiming it forward. Stabbing it forward like a spear, Goku slips past his initial attack and uses the momentum from his approach to punch Whis right in the face. It's a great punch and lands cleanly. This clean strike draws cheers and gasps from the crowd, but Whis won't be that easy to defeat. With the back of his staff, he knocks Goku away before blocking a few more punches and kicks using his staff. Spinning it around his back and swapping hands, he whips the staff toward Goku and clocks him on the jaw. However, he looks surprisingly well after taking that hit. Whis pulls back his staff, leaping forward to throw a side kick only for Goku to leap over his extended leg and kick him in the face. As Whis falls back, Goku throws two picture-perfect straight punches before Whis evades the final attack with the use of his Ultra Instinct. Both fighters return to range, wary of what the other can do. If Goku tries to fight messy, he will likely fall victim to Whis' superior technique and battle intelligence. However, what he knows he can rely on now is brute strength and physical capability. 10 clones of Goku appear around Whis, all with his strength. They encircle him, and the announcer of this match immediately lifts his mic. Would you look at the situation that Whis is in now? Surrounded by clones of Goku, the fight has just gotten 10 times harder, literally. The clones then swarm Whis. He closes his eyes and breathes calmly. Gripping his staff more tightly, he kicks back 2 clones by leaping and kicking, doing the splits as he does this. As he lands, his Ultra Instinct does him well as he can attack while relying on his body to perform the defense for him. As he keeps knocking back these clones though, they're not going anywhere. It's not like the weaker clones that Goku used to create before. They can really take hits now. As Whis thrusts the end of his staff into a clone, it detonates and throws him back. As for the other clones, many of them latch onto him and explode, with some of them flying right into him to deal more damage due to their kinetic energy. After the explosions, Whis looks quite weak and has ripped, burned clothing. Lifting himself by resting on his staff, he starts showing off his true power. Something a mortal has never seen before. Surrounded by the Ultra Instinct aura, it gives him quite the defining look. As the fight continues, Whis shows off greater speed and power. Goku must work significantly harder to keep him at bay, but the dynamics remain. Goku is physically superior to Whis. Grabbing his staff and parrying it, Goku kicks Whis in the side before getting hit in the cheek by the lower end of the staff. As he falls back, Goku thinks up of a strategy and smirks as he comes up with it. Whis swivels around his staff awaiting his advance, and Goku does so with confidence. He grows and grows quite large, towering over every spectator. He reaches more than 80 meters tall with his gigantification ability and throws down his arms toward Whis. Lifting up his staff, he pushes back the 2 fists using his weapon. However, he then sees 2 clones whiz under these 2 enlarged fists. As his 2 arms are lifted and with practically no time to react, the fight is over. They both punch him simultaneously in the face, sending him sliding over the floor. His staff is thrown straight out of his hands and he is left unconscious for a brief moment. The crowd around Goku break into vehement cheers as even if they were rooting for Whis, are amazed at what he's just done. He just beat an actual angel, immortal now in the domain of the angels themselves. Beerus, who has been watching this, is more than surprised at how Goku managed to come out on top. "You did well, kid, you did well," Beerus says, tapping him on his shoulder with a nod of respect. As much as he hates Goku for growing so far past him and basically humiliating him by doing so, it's a great moment nonetheless. Goku, I must congratulate you for what you have done today. However, it seems that you've grown past your master. Would you like me to give you a few tips? The Grand Priest asks. Goku's eyes almost light up as he says this. Of course. So that will conclude What If Goku Was a Forbidden Saiyan. I hope you enjoyed this What If and a little longer video to close it off. It would have just felt awkward breaking this up into two really short videos, so I decided to bunch it up into one really long one for you guys. Please tell me something you liked about this video or something that I should improve on for the next one. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.